Nscaler454 here. Welcome back to the channel. It's about time we started laying some track, and we're going to start on the upper level of section 2 right here with these switches, because once we have these in place, that's going to dictate where I put my Tortoise switch motors. And it's also going to, help me align with the straight tracks going that way as well as this way. And if you can see, I've already drawn the center lines of the track, so I think I can just go ahead and start laying down some straight flex tracks and whatnot. So let's get started.
I'm using Pico Code 55 track, and in this case a medium unifrog turnout as well as a large electrofrog turnout. For the straight track, I'm using Pico Flex track, and I'm using some push pins to hold it all down. I'm also using some metal rail joiners to connect the track together. On the large electrofrog turnout, I cut off the rail tie ends and stored them away to be used at a later date. I used a straight edge to set my alignment for the turnouts. This Pico track set a straight piece worked very well. Of course, it works great for straightening the flex track.
So it was relatively easy to temporarily lay out the track so far. I noticed a couple of things. Right here, there's a little bit of contact between the rail ties, so I'll need to do some trimming there, I guess. I suppose that's normal. Right here, there's about a 1.5 millimeter gap that I'll have to cut off the other side. I measured this section out right here at 81 millimeters, so I'll take a piece of flex track and cut that off.
Six months later.
So it's been about 6 months since I started this video, but the summer came and I had a whole bunch of other projects on the go, but it is about time we started working on this train layout once again. And to finish this off, we're going to figure out our alignment for our switches here so we can mount our tortoises. Then I can pull up this upper level and we can start laying down some cork bed as well as the track. So let's get back to work.
The first thing I did was mark the holes for the switch while it was in a centered position between the rails. This gave me my center point for the wire that goes to the Tortoise switch machine, but also tells me the orientation of how to mount the switch machine itself. I drilled a couple of small holes through the bottom of the plywood, again as an alignment guide, and then drilled a larger hole for where the switch action takes place. I used a long drill bit to make a mark on my main level plywood and used that as a reference point to where the Tortoise machine would be. I then removed the upper level and used a hole saw to cut my holes. As it turned out, I didn't account for the offset of the Tortoise, so I had to use a jigsaw to open up the holes a little larger. Also, because the holes were so close to the edge of my bench, naturally they interfered with the outer frame. I used a chisel to give me the necessary clearance. I also learned that the template that comes with the Tortoise is very useful and should be used for correct placement. After a few adjustments, the Tortoise motors fit well and I could access them from underneath the bench. With the upper level removed, I drilled some 1/2-inch holes through the bench for future wiring. I had to figure a way to mark my center line for the curved track so I could lay the cork down that line. I ended up using a pen to poke through the rail ties, and that gave me the guide I needed. Before doing any gluing, I prepped the cork by using some 80 grit sandpaper on the edges for a more realistic appearance. I used PL 300 foam adhesive because it sticks extremely well to the foam base. I used a putty knife to spread it really thin and then set it into place, doing one side at a time. I used a straight piece of wood as an edge to keep the cork straight. Once the first side was reasonably secure, it was extremely easy to set the other side in place. I went over the cork with a foam roller to evenly press it down. To keep access to the holes to screw the upper level down, I cut out little notches in the cork that I avoided putting adhesive on so they could be removed as needed. For the switch location, I found being a little creative with some angles and using a good pair of scissors to cut the cord was sufficient in getting the job done. Going from the bottom, I drilled up through the cork for the switch motor wire. I then relayed all the track to mark out where to put holes for my wiring. I definitely feel like I was redundant with the steps that I did. With some practice, I'm sure I'll get more streamlined. I reinstalled the upper level to the benchwork. Good thing I made these little access pieces in the cork so I could get to the screw holes. I also removed the backdrop for easier access. I used Elmer's glue all to adhere the track to the cork. I chose to install the turnouts first as their placement would dictate the exact lengths of the straight track. You'll notice that I pre-wired the turnouts, and I'll cover that process in my next video. The original intention was to pre-solder my feeder wires to the underside of the track rails, but this seemed to really add a lot of time to lay in the track and also seemed to limit the fine adjustments, so I abandoned the plan for the rest of the track. I also tried using some DAP Quick Seal adhesive. I found the DAP was a little more difficult to apply and also took longer to dry. So far, both the DAP and the Elmer's glue seem to hold just fine.
Alright guys, that is the end of this video. We do have some track laid, which is exciting. You can see it looks pretty straight, so I'm happy about that. Definitely took a lot longer than I expected, but you know, it is a learning process and I am learning as I go, so you know, things can take time. As you saw in the video, I did install some Tortoise switch motors and I've even tested them out. You can see that they work. I have not soldered any of the joints or anything just yet. I'll tackle that at a later date. I did mention in the video that I used the DAP adhesive as well as the glue all to secure the track down, and the glue all seems strong, but the DAP, I just noticed, look at that. It feels like it has not held and it's popping up. So I gotta say, the DAP Quick Seal not getting my vote of approval. I'm going to use the Elmer's glue all for now, and hopefully I don't have to go to a much stronger adhesive caulking, because I like the idea that if I have to, I can pull the track up if needed. So if you guys like this video, hit the thumbs up, subscribe for more videos, and thanks for watching.